Good morning. Just about. Yep, it is morning. Good start.
Just
Welcome to B&C with myself, Jay, and pod regular Gilly. We will be discussing last night's eventful game and seeing what everybody thinks. Take it away, Gilly.
Hi, this is Don Matteo, and you are listening to the Ought to Know Better podcast. Let's do this.
Morning, mate. How are you doing after that?
I'm all right now. To be honest, I think it took me until probably about an hour ago to calm down. So I went to bed. But on reflection, I don't think I had. I didn't sleep until late. It was just one of those, especially off the back of the Norwich game, where you think, "Wow, we really got away with one there." And the chances, I mean, we were far and away the best against Norwich, and the chances that we passed up against them, and then conceding 91st minute, you're like, here we go again, or shit, we're definitely getting relegated now, and all of those negative thoughts come back, and then 94th minute happens, and then the 96th minute when it hits Elliott, and then you look at last night. Now, I don't think we were far and away the better side. I'll be honest. I think in the first half,
we weren't.
Fairly fair to say. Just going into that second half, and you're thinking the injuries we've had, chances we have missed, because we did miss some chances. We hit the woodwork a couple of times as well, and you're thinking 2-0 down. They're going for Europe. They've got Calgary about them. You know, are they just going to be able to see this out quite easily, and this will peter out into nothing, and we won't be in the game? And then that second half happened.
Jesus Christ. Well,
just
I'll
unreal.
tell you what, I didn't actually. I went to see my nephew boxing last night, so I watched the first half in the bar at the other side of the place where we were, and then came through in the right mood at half time to watch the fight, thinking, I wish I were getting in the ring after watching that, for fuck's sake. And I went to queue at bar for another pint, you know, and I'm thinking, when I sit down, we'll get game back on phone and just keep up what's happening. Before I knew it, my brother-in-law turns around and goes, it's 2-2, and I'm like, what? I mean, I'd give up at half time. I would done me. We were down. That were it.
Hang on, that's not positive, Jay.
Hey, listen, positive Jay. We're taking a beating last night watching that first half. I'm telling you, there's only so much any man can take. But I couldn't believe it, honestly. And then to end up going on and winning that game, that's 6 points in 2 games. Well, we would never have dreamed we were getting 6 points out of them 2 games a month ago.
Well, you know where my head were at before Norwich game. I thought we were down at that point.
Exactly.
You know, I couldn't see where the next point were coming from, never mind the next 6. And I think in context of that Everton game as well, which Jesse mentioned, I don't know if you got a chance to see any of it. Jesse mentioned it after full time, and he was saying,
I didn't.
Yeah, I watched the game, but we don't take that into account. That's not anything that we can change. You know, which, you know, that's kind of it's almost a bit of a cliche, because a lot of people say that. But he's just saying, you know, we focus on the next game. We don't look at the league table. We don't look at the results. We're in that position where we just concentrate on our game, and we try and take the pressure off and the stress away from the situation by not looking at the table and just concentrating on the next game. And actually, that's what we need to do. And I think, you know, when we look at where we were 2 games ago and where we are now, especially with the games in hand that other sides have got on us, it is massive. That is huge.
Absolutely. And like I say, we'd never have imagined we were getting 6 points out of them 2 games. I mean, we probably would have thought we'd get 3 and hoped for 4. You know, I'd been optimistic. And
if you'd have offered me a draw before Wolves game, I'd have taken it. Away from home against a side that was in the European spots. You'd be mad not to at that point.
I feel like we got some karmic retribution last night. I really do. After the way they played at Elland Road, the infamous ball in play for only 14 minutes second half. And again, they were rolling round every time anyone went near them.
Well, it wasn't just rolling round either.
What an arsehole he is.
Well, yeah, I mean that one on Dallas were bad. We can come on to that, but just in terms of the the previous game. I don't know if you remember it, but somebody dug out the video this morning on Twitter with Jimenez kicking out at Robin Koch near touchline at Ellen Road.
Oh yeah, I've not seen that yet.
Nothing
remember,
at all.
to be honest.
Nothing at all given. And we're in that position where actually, if one of our players does that, they're probably getting a red.
Yeah.
But all we've seen this morning is Wolves fans coming out saying how the ref was biased towards Leeds. Now, I know they probably don't spend a lot of time watching Leeds games, but I'm not having any of that at all.
It's unbelievable. That picture that I think were it yourself retweeted off the pod account with the ref in the Leeds shirt. I don't know if it was you or the other
no,
guys,
it wasn't me. No, but
yeah. So that Paul Robinson guy has posted, I've just seen this. What a time to be alive, something like that, and it's the ref from last night with a Leeds shirt on. I mean, I've never. Well, I won't say never, but in recent memory, I've not seen this level of assault from an opposition fan base. Not for a while. Like they're really upset.
Oh, they really are. And there were one. I don't know if you've seen this. I've only seen it just before we were coming on. And I think it might be a supporters trust or something talking about the fact that away fans had got into the executive box.
Yeah, saw that.
How it's truly devastating and how
a dark day for football. He said
a dark day for football. Yeah, and you think, hang on a minute, that happens at every ground. And then you actually look at some of that, and there's some Wolves fans in there going, "We do that everywhere we go. How can you have a go at people doing that at our place?"
A dark day for football. For fuck's sake, man. Get some perspective. You know what I mean?
It's just craziness, isn't it?
I mean, a few comments we've got before we
go for it. Yeah.
Just jump back in. Just before they all queue up and we leave them. Mark Edison, amazing night. I cannot get enough of watching it and the goals again and again. Every player played from the heart. Love seeing it. 5 more points and we are safe. MOT. Don't think he's wrong there. Let's have a look. Got a few here.
5 more points. So 5 more points puts us on 34.
Yeah, I reckon that 34, 35 will be enough, to be honest. Morning, Jack.
Yeah.
AJ Law. Really hungover, but worth it. Yeah, I'm right with you there, mate. Right with you there. Jack, get your passport out, lads. We're going to Europe. Here we go.
You know what? I didn't realise it until I put it in group chat last night. But we are as close to us in terms of points. We are as close to Aston Villa in 9th, who were on 36 points, as we are Watford in 18th, who were on 22.
Yeah, I know.
So, we're looking at it and we're thinking, oh, fucking hell, we're down. There's so many. If we're still in trouble on 29 points, Brentford on 30, Newcastle on 31, Brighton and Leicester are only on 33.
Exactly.
We're all in it. That's not a big. If we're in trouble, so are they, because that's not a big swing with 10 games left to go for
exactly.
The lot.
2 results the other way, and we're above all them teams. Do you know what I mean?
Well, we've seen. I mean, that's why it's so massive that we've managed to get these 6 points, isn't it? Especially with our goal difference.
Mark just asking for getting more posing pics today. You on Twitter? It must mean you, Gilly. Definitely.
I don't think he does.
Jack Jimenez is.
You get your blue steel out, pal.
I will see, mate. See how I feel. A bit dead right now. More blue death. I mean. I don't even know what to say next. I'm just all at sea this morning.
Hey, hang on a minute.
Hang on.
Alive! He's alive!
Hang on. Rumours of his demise have been greatly exaggerated.
Alive? I'm fucking barely.
You've just
a nice voice you've got there, Carl.
You've just woke up and said, "Oh shit," haven't you?
Essentially, yeah. You see
the big chat. Morning, pal.
Oh well, yeah. At least I'm on time for something. Well,
but it's not your birthday. I'm not having any of that.
Well, I took the win yesterday a little bit too literally, and I fucking went absolutely
I think we all did.
Fucking bananas. Not gonna lie.
Till 4 a.m. I wasn't intending to go anywhere.
You weren't about till 4 a.m.
Something like that.
I think I saw 4 a.m. pass by, and then I was like, "Fuck." But anyway,
well, since you're here, Carl, I mean, how did you feel about that last night?
At the start,
roller coaster.
When they scored, honest to God, one of the lads turned to me and was like, "We're getting ready to get it." Then I was at the bar in the box. By the way, there's only one good barmaid in the box, one, and she's fucking class. I'd give a shout out to her.
Oh, this is the box in Headingley?
No, the box in town. The box in town.
Oh, okay.
But I was standing there at the counter for about 15 minutes. Jimenez got sent off while I was standing there, and I went back over to my mate. I was like, "Yeah, it's 3 days ago though. That's I have no excuse. I genuinely don't get that pissed up all the time." And as soon as he got sent off, that was it. I knew well we'd win it. Honest to God, I just had it in my head. I had it in my head, and I went to my mate. I was like, "We're winning this 3-2." He was like, "We're fucking getting relegated." We went 3-2 up. He lost his shit and then left. I was like, "Well, okay, fair enough."
Hang on, is he a Leeds fan?
Yeah, massively. That's season ticket beside me.
Jesus Christ! It must have just got too emotional for him. He probably went off and started punching himself in the head or something. You know,
man,
I can't believe it.
I think it was just emotional for everyone yesterday, man. After that third goal went in, I can't. I genuinely, the box lost its shit. It genuinely lost all sense of normality. No, not that much. Like, Jesus Christ, come on. But like the difference between half time and full time was just unreal. It was
almost like a game of two halves, Karl.
It's mad, isn't it? Mad, yeah. How did you find it? Well, how were your emotions?
We've just gone over this because we started at half past, but you know, I mean, I would just say to Gilly before I were done, mate, at half time. Because I've gone to see my nephew boxing, so I were in the bar watching the first half, and then went through to where the ring was at the other side. So I missed the 2 goals when we got to 2-2 because I were at the bar queuing. I couldn't believe it. I were done, mate. That were it. We were down. To go from that to full time to like, and 6 points in 2 games. You know, I just couldn't believe it.
And just to underline that, Jay, just revisit the stats that we discussed in the group chat. Remember them?
Oh God, why? What did we say? I can't even remember.
So Wolves have never been in a position where they've been 2-0 up at half time and lost. And Leeds in the Premier League have never been in a position where they've been 2-0 down and won. They have now.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
I wonder if the board will get abused for that.
Well, we've put another curse to bed there, haven't we? So it's another
thing, yeah, because like you were saying, Gilly, Wolves, I don't think all season that they've ever lost from a winning position. They've either gone behind and not won, or they've gone ahead and not lost. I think.
I think it's hundreds of games, and they've only lost 1 from a winning position in hundreds of games.
It's madness, isn't it?
We're here to change the record, lads.
That's right. We're the disruptors. We're the vile animals.
I actually quite
ruin everyone's day.
I for once it's us ruining someone's weekend rather than vice versa. There now, I'll be perfectly honest with you.
And we really have. There are a lot of salty tears on Twitter this morning.
I turned to my brother-in-law last night and I said to him, "This is why I hate Friday games, because now my entire weekend's fucking ruined. I'm gonna be in the mood all weekend. Now I'm buzzing, sun's shining, Leeds got 3 points. It's a complete different weekend now."
What happened to our Lord Savior Jay with the Jess press and fucking all this shit? You're sitting there going, my head's up, behold, I'm depressed. We're going to go down.
Mate, Jesus' work is done. Now it's time for positive Jay again.
Was that it? Was that just like, is that a part-time job you've got going on there as the Savior?
Well, you can't do it all, do you know what I mean? And there's only so much of me to go around. So I've gone from the Jesus role now to the Moses role. I'm leading you guys through the Red Sea or whatever it was.
Into the promised land, is it?
Exactly.
Right.
I'm
down with a bit of promised land guidance. You know what I mean? God knows I could do with it sometimes. Definitely last night.
Absolutely.
I did expect to come down to Luke on my couch, but he's clearly had enough of the fucking dog. No, he's had enough of Bruce and he's fucked off. So.
Oh, did you meet up with him?
Yeah. He was back here, man. Sure, that's why I'm late.
That's bizarre, because I was with him.
Hey, what happens between consenting adults, pal?
Oh, no, he just fucking fell asleep on the couch. I went to bed. That's it. Whatever happened between him and Bruce is another story. I don't care about that. Like, he's got a smile on his face, the dog, so something's okay.
Right, fucking hell. Say no more, mate.
Yeah.
I was with him in town, and I went home. I got to a point where I thought, "Oh, that's it now. I need to go home. Enough's enough." I went home. So how the fuck he ended up at yours after that? I had no idea.
I actually had that notion as well, and then it turned into a let's go here for a drink. I was like, all right.
So you tried to go home.
I
but you
tried.
got
I
led
genuinely
astray.
tried.
You know,
It's
not your
it's
fault.
like I got bullied into it, you know. But it's never a good thing when you see how bright it is before you go to bed. That's the only thing I just I
No.
kept, no,
that's it, innit?
not anymore.
I mean, I'll tell you what, on the game itself last night, I mean, that first goal, I was just like, that is shite defending again, Leeds. And it was a shit goal to concede. The second goal, another shit goal to concede. And all these salty Wolves fans that we've been talking about, me and Gilly, none of them seem to be mentioning how they scored from a dive that the guy should have got booked for. And instead our player got booked. I mean, why is nobody talking about that?
Yeah,
See,
I think
funny that, innit?
we were in that. We were in that position where we have to do better, having had that goal against us. You know, that was
definitely
desperately bad defending, but you know, equally, it is a truism to say that would a dive. You can see Strike makes no contact at all. Now, whether it was an absolute dive or he trips himself up, there's a lot of people saying that he tripped himself up, but we know he's got form, so you're always going to go with it. If they're a known diver, you're always going to go with that. So he's made a rod for his own back with fans. But yeah, Kevin Friends let him get away with that, and it comes back to the fact of I am gobsmacked that Wolves fans are saying that they didn't get the rub because it was terrible. Yeah, I go back through the comments.
A few comments there, yeah.
Yeah,
I was shocked at that. To be fair,
that's Moutinho, isn't it?
Yeah, can't believe the Wolves player took out Dallas didn't get a red just as bad as Coops v Man City.
I think it's worse than Coops.
Yeah,
I think it's worse than Coops. He's straight over the top of the Coops, went through the ball and caught the man.
Cooper won the ball.
Straight over the top of it.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
that's the thing. And I
Mark saying I think Leeds United need to offer a heart monitor or cannabis to all members, season ticket holders as standard. My heart in 6 days has bounced around like crazy. I think we all felt that, mate. Rumour has it that's going to be the membership and season ticket holders next year. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
Just going back to what Mark was saying there, just quickly, one of the lads that I stand with in the South Stand, he said during the Norwich game when the second one went in, he said he got an alert on his iWatch or whatever the fuck it is. He was like, your heart rate is quite high. Do you need assistance? And it was like, fuck you know, I think we all need assistance, man. I don't think Apple can figure this one out. Like, you know what I mean?
No
it's
chance.
Like,
Jesus Christ.
They should genuinely give us something like that to just monitor shit going in, because if they're going to keep doing that, like it's not fair.
Mate.
It's not fair. I like it. Don't get me wrong. It's good crack, but Jesus Christ.
Absolutely.
Leeds last night in Ireland today would make it a perfect Paddy's Day festival. Beat England last week though, didn't they? So
it's funny how you're Irish sometimes, Italian other times. It's bizarre.
I'm only talking about it. Like I could be just sitting here taking the piss out of you. I did not support anyone. Mate. You
know. I mean, we could switch you off and block you. But, Mark says Jesse is growing on me. I have to say, speaks so logically, but with intelligence, and he's already got Leeds in his blood. I know what you mean, Mark. Yeah. I like him, mate. I think he's coming across really well, and the fact that we've got a couple of results now gives him some credit in the bank, doesn't it, for the rest of the season? I think.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I think
after we lost them 2 games, people would be going nuts now.
Yeah, I think those 6 points there give him a massive kind of step up. You know what I mean? I think if he'd have lost that yesterday and gone into the international break with a defeat away, trying to get the crowd back on side for Southampton at home would have been very, very difficult, I think. And he's done all right for himself there now today. Well, I say that the players have done all right for themselves as well, because it just means it's another week where we're not, shouting and screaming and giving them shit. But
I like to think that Frank Lampard cried watching that.
Yeah, salty tears. Just going back to their sending off, I think Jimenez would have been sent off for that challenge even if he hadn't been booked.
Do you?
I think so. Yeah, I think it was late. He was high. He took out the keeper. I don't think there was many elements of that weren't a sending off for me. So if he didn't go for it, then I'd have had to seriously question the refs' capabilities of keeping control of that game. I think that's a straight red.
Disagree. I
Do you?
absolutely
Conspiracy,
disagree.
apparently.
100% disagree.
I'm on the fence with it.
The reason that I disagree is not necessarily the nature of the tackle or even today's football. It's that it shouldn't be, and that's why I'm saying that is it shouldn't be. But there's a couple that we've reflected on. We've already mentioned Cooper, and Stroik got sent off. He'd not even fouled a man and got sent off. So if you're going on the fact that, by the way, my network's saying that I'm having some issues. If I cut out, I'll be back. But if we're in a position where Stroik got sent off because of the resulting injury, well, Medley went off. So I can see both sides of it. I don't want it to be. I don't think it should be.
No, don't get me wrong. I agree with you. I don't think it should be. But in today's game, I think that's a straight red. I think it's just the way he's taken, the way he's gone into it. It's like he's left his leg in there knowing he's going to be last to the ball.
You're talking about intent, aren't you?
Yeah.
You can go for that. You can walk for that.
And I genuinely just think that was literally, if he hadn't already been booked, that's a sending off for me.
I thought it was.
So there are people saying that it's not a yellow card at all. Genuinely saying it's not a yellow card at all. Now, if you go in for the 50-50 and you don't get the ball, you always run the risk of getting booked.
Yeah,
exactly.
And I think
that's
that was
kind of
it.
where I am. That's kind of where I am. You go into those tackles knowing if you don't get there first, you're going to get a card.
Yeah.
But
and if you're already on a yellow,
you?
Well, do you? If you're already on a yellow, is that a stupid thing to go for?
If you're already on a yellow, that's a different matter, isn't it? But
if we're on a yellow and he'd been warned for another tackle. So when you put that context in, I don't understand how anybody can complain.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like that's why I feel it was like, you know what I mean. And I think he should have been sent off for a tackle before that in the centre of midfield. I can't remember who it was on. He tried to hold the ball up and we won it back, and then he ended up fucking lashing out at, I think it might have been Cresswell or something like that. Oh no, not Cresswell, Stroik in just towards the end of the first half. There was a couple of instances where he could have gotten like he didn't play it very well. Once he got booked, there was no thought in his head that, Jesus, I'm already booked, I need to chill out here. He went diving for everything, he went flying in for everything. He had no thought of trying to keep his head there at all, I don't think, yesterday, Jimenez, and that was their downfall.
It were a bit of a McTominay against Scum performance from him, wasn't it? Like, he could have gone multiple times.
He should have been sent off 5 times in that game.
Some players just don't seem to have any intelligence. They just go off doing whatever they want and think, oh, I'll be all right. So it makes no sense. If that were our player and he were carrying on like that, I'd be pissed off with him. Do you know what I mean? Because that puts your team on back foot then, and he didn't need to do most of the things that he did. Yeah. So, but when you're getting away with stuff a lot like he does with his dives and things like
this
that,
is the thing as well.
Get away with it. So, it comes back to refereeing again, doesn't it?
Mark makes a good comment there. Rodrigo looks like the 27 million player of these last 2 matches. The goal last night, the angle, he had no right to score. I think it was a great finish from Rodrigo.
Yeah,
great finish.
Yeah, it was. It were awesome last night, to be fair, in the second half at least.
Yeah.
I thought he played. Do you think is that down to
all game?
Yeah, do you think is that down to Marsh giving him that extra responsibility within the leaders group? Do you think is he kind of taking that on board and he's kind of like, right, okay, I'm only here. This is only my second season, but this is what the gaffer thinks, and this is the way I should go about things now. Do you think has that given him a bit of an extra boost?
Possibly. I mean, that's one of the manager's jobs, isn't it? You have to sort of read what players will react to and give them that. So if he's doing the right thing, then he's reading him right, and for me, he's doing a good job. So
yeah. I think you can see that in his play. I think when you look at, it's not just his movement and how he's playing. It's also the way that he's interacting with the players around him has changed. And I think you are right. I think you can see that. I don't really get what we're going on, but after Jackie had scored last night, he spent a little bit of time actually dealing with him, Rodrigo in his face, and picking something up with him.
Is that Bruce?
He's looked back.
Go let him out.
But while he does that, I think we're also in a situation where not only not only are we seeing actually the benefit of having a good player in the side, but he is showing those leadership qualities that you want the experienced players. You know, we talked about the loss of Berardi, the loss of Pablo, and you know, leaders in the dressing room, and other people have got to stand up. And actually, I think Carl's got it spot on. I think that we are seeing that in Rodrigo. He's playing better as well, but he's also exhibiting that behaviour that we want to see in the senior players.
Do you think he needed that? He needed a manager to come in and tell him that he's one of his main men and tell him that he's relying on him.
I think so.
Yeah. I heard a lot of talk about how Jesse Marsh likes to manage players and how he likes to sit them down individually. And I don't think anyone, like, as much as the players have all that respect for Bielsa and what he made them achieve and the areas that he brought, the stratosphere that he brought them all to, I think sometimes you do need that manager who's willing to just put an arm around a player and go, look, get your shit together. You're a senior player. This is the way it needs to go. And sometimes that, like you said, Gilly, players do need that, regardless of their price tag, regardless of the reputation they come in with. Everybody, like, same in any job. Like, you love to be told you're doing well.
Yeah, of course you do.
There you go. Bit of encouragement, you know, and that's no slight on Bielsa. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm just
I get where you're coming from, but I think part of Bielsa had his way, and he spoke a few times on liking to maintain distance from his players. We saw the Paddy cuddle on the after he'd scored that volley, and we saw the Calvin and Paddy and Roberts cuddles at Elland Road when they were celebrating and stuff. But you know, in the main, he liked to keep a distance. I think Jesse's a bit different from that, and I think what we're seeing is somebody that comes in and looks and quickly ascertains this player needs a kick up the arse and this player needs an arm around the shoulder, and that's really important. And I think that's a massive deal. And we don't know who's who. I suspect that when you say, I don't think Forshaw's one of those ones that wants to cuddle. I really don't. I think he's probably one of those that likes to kick up the arse and to be told where he's going wrong and focus on that and tell him when he's playing well, but tell him when he's not. And I think that is the kind of character. I mean, we don't know. We're not being close enough. But then you've got others that like Paddy probably likes the bit of an arm around the shoulder and to be encouraged. And they all need to know that they're important and part of the plan. And when you know that you're important and you know that you're part of the plan, that allows you to then focus on actually what matters, rather than focusing on what does he think about me.
Yeah, I remember when Paddy first signed, and he said in his interview, or one of his early interviews, he said, "I've always just wanted to go somewhere and be the main man, and be given that responsibility and that role." So I think you're right with him. I think he is somebody that wants somebody to sit him down and say, "I trust you, Paddy. I want you out there. I want you to do what you do. I know you can do it. You've got it in you. You're my guy." I think he needs that, and I think one of the big sort of things. I was just going to ignore that a bit again.
I just let him in, the dickhead.
One of the challenges for a new manager is obviously getting your core senior players on side early doors, because then everyone else will follow. And I think he's done a good job of that. And he comes across as somebody you'd want to play for, to me.
It's not even just that. It's also... So you're absolutely right. It is that. But that additional context of following in the footsteps of somebody that's been so massive. And you look at how the scum have gone about that and how they've just intrinsically failed at everything they've attempted. And then you look
Rotten from top to bottom then.
Yeah, and then you look at the way that Jesse's come in, and he's not paid lip service to what's gone before him. He's not paid lip service to it. You can see that he genuinely means what he's saying, and paying respect to Bielsa and the way that he played the game. And he's been really respectful. But it was always going to be difficult. It's always easier when you're picking up points, but it was always going to be difficult to get the fans on side. And I think it's not even the way that we've played. I mean, it would abject misery against Villa. We can't get away from that. But out of 4 games, we've won 2. And if you look at the form, that you couldn't see where that were coming. Like I said at the start of this, before the Norwich game, I couldn't see where 1 point were coming from, let alone 6 from the next 6. But I don't think it is that. I think it's the way that he's spoken, the way that he's come across. He's a Yank coming in, but it's not all soccer and whatever else. Go Sports. he had that to overcome. And you know, I put something on Twitter this morning when I started watching the game back. I didn't quite get to finish it before we came on, but what Wolves did right before kickoff was have a huddle. Nobody made a big deal of it.
Yeah,
Oh, no,
it's only a big deal when it's Jesse. So he's got all of that to overcome. Our media are going to give him some stick. They always gave Bielsa stick, however good he was. It didn't matter. Well, why don't you speak English? It's because he doesn't trust you fuckers. That's why he doesn't speak English.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And he went wrong,
so, you know, exactly. So he's got all that to overcome. And I think he's done it really, really well.
It's like we said on the pod last week when we had the poll result about, you know, Jesse being a Yank and all that. It's like, why is it that when Leeds get a foreign manager, there's a big deal made about it? But, like, you know, they should have got Sam Allardyce or some arsehole like that. Do you know what I mean? These English managers should get a chance, but when their clubs get foreign managers, it's, oh, well, there's no one good enough in the English pool of managers. We need a top manager. You know, it's double standards all the way. Scum last week throwing bottles and stuff at Simeone.
Yeah, hardly anything been said of it, has there?
Jake Humphrey's saying, "Oh, they're just
and
passion."
It's world. Yeah,
it's like no,
well, he can get in bin, can't he?
And what in Villa? An almost empty water bottle that kind of skinned one of their players, and he went down like he'd been shot.
Yeah.
And wasn't it not the guy who it hit that went down? It was the guy next to him. I'm sure it was. But
it hit somebody and then kind of skimmed somebody else. It was the one it skimmed that went down like it, you know, like it'd been caught with a big haymaker. It's like, what are you doing?
But at the same time, we don't condone that kind of shit either.
No, we don't. But
we do give players who go down like a sack of fucking shit. That's essentially it. That's what we're doing. It's not. We're not condoning violence or throwing shit.
We would like some consistency.
That's all. I think that's all we want. I think.
Yeah,
Gilly, going back to. Sorry,
go on, mate.
I was just going to say,
carry on. I'm going to let that cat in because you'll start hearing him soon. Because animals are taking over this podcast.
Just to go back to what you were saying about, that lot over in the Badlands, and you know, they kind of imply the same kind of tactics that Jesse does. I genuinely wasn't confident that we could play in that system with the players we had, because it's taken Scum nearly 3 months to kind of get anywhere near playing well enough in that system. And
but to be fair, they're not being managed by a coach; they're being managed by a director of football that doesn't really know what he's doing. So is that really a surprise?
Yeah. Well, there is that, like. But I genuinely was so frightened when he came in. He was like, you know, and you saw the lineup against Leicester. Yeah, it genuinely put the shits up me a little bit, because I didn't think we had the players capable of actually implementing that type of system. Yeah,
no, I think that's fair. Especially with again, I mean, I know we've made a massive deal of it, but it is a massive deal, especially with the absences that we've had.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, and I read an article there during the week that Jesse's had a conversation with Calvin, and apparently he wants to use Calvin in the kind of same role that he did for England, where he's presumably going to have Forshaw or Click behind him and giving him that freedom to kind of get forward. Now, we've seen Calvin can do that, but it's going to be a massive change for people seeing him do that at Ellen Road after the last 3.5 years, I think.
Well, I mean, it'll be interesting to see which one he goes, because he won't be able to play Click as deep as he has been if he's playing Calvin as well. So it'll be either Forshaw or Click. Now, I personally, I think that'll be Forshaw. I think Forshaw's played really, really well since he's come back from injury, and I dread to think where we'd be if he hadn't got back at the time he did.
Oh God, yeah.
I think Click has relished playing that deeper role. I think he's done it really well. Especially with how well Rodrigo's been playing. I don't think if Click hadn't been deployed deeper, I don't think he'd be playing at all. Just because I don't think you edge Rodrigo out with the way that he's played in the last couple of games. But I think it'll be really interesting to see how he sets that up, because he likes the 2-2-2. So there'll be two wingers and there'll be two forwards. And if those two forwards with everybody fit are almost certainly going to be Rodrigo and Bamford, you've then got a question mark over Jackie or Dan, because I think Jackie's played well at last game and a half, because he came on at half time, didn't I think he did well against Norwich. I think he did well again last night. There were a couple of frustrating moments with him, but there's been a couple of frustrating moments with everybody that we've got. So I wouldn't necessarily. So personally, I think Dan James and Rafinha are probably his first choice wingers, but I don't think there's all that much in it. But then you've got your real question marks over. There's Calvin, there's Forshaw, there's three. All of a sudden, it looks like we've got options.
This is the thing. Like, it looks
Really
like we don't know who we need to play now.
Yeah,
You know,
the team's basically picked itself for 6 months, and then all of a sudden we've got some options. It's like we
It's
don't know
picked
what to do
itself.
with this.
It's picked itself because it's had no one else to fucking pick.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, I was really
15-year-old on
pleased.
bench.
I was really pleased to see Cresswell get on last night because Bielsa seemed reluctant to use him, and that's one thing that it was kind of nice to see that. And Marsh genuinely seems to have some faith.
Not
in
much
these
of a
players.
choice around that either.
No, but somebody else would have got put there, and somebody would have been moved. It would have been Ayling to centre back if Bielsa were in charge.
Maybe so. Yeah.
But that was the thing, like that. It with Cresswell coming on, it didn't disrupt any kind of style of play that we were currently using or anything like that. It was literally square peg, square hole, simple, done. Just fucking put him in there.
Absolutely.
If Jesse wants a similar scenario to England, KP and Rice, we need a more athletic midfielder than
KP
Forshaw.
do peanuts.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, Gilly. I'm not ready for that kind of humour.
Couldn't even get to the end of the fucking comments.
I think we should just buy Declan Rice so he can play next to KP. Let's just do that.
I did like the Chelsea. The tweet. Yesterday the Chelsea thought that they could afford Declan Rice and now they can't afford special rice. That's just beautiful, is that? Brilliant.
My heart bleeds for him.
Barely. The only reason your heart is bleeding is because that's what your body needs to do.
Yes, Gilly is not smart. That's correct.
So a question for you then. So we normally do this. I think this one's quite difficult because although they were decent in the first half, if you could take one player from Wolves, who would you take?
Their number 10.
Christ.
What's his name? Pavance, is it? Or?
Not Trinchau. Oh, Podence.
No, that's the one. Yeah.
Podence,
he ran us ragged for about half an hour, 40 minutes in that first half. He genuinely did.
I thought Trincao were good.
Yeah,
they've got a lot of good players, but because we're crying out for number 10, and he just fit the bill for me. He was lively. He was always looking to get in behind if he could. There was plenty about him to say that he could get into a lot of teams in the Premier League and not have an issue with it, I think.
Absolutely.
I think for me, I'd go further back. So Klaassen did well when he came on. I went, oh no.
You're not the only one.
I remember the under-23s game against Arsenal. He made one little mistake and his arse fell out and he never recovered. And I thought, oh no. He made some really good saves. There were a couple of nervy moments with his kicks out, but he made 2 or 3 good saves, and he didn't look phased, which was good. And he did make a mistake one of his clearances, and he didn't look like his head fell off. So that's good. But at the same time, I still think we need a senior. I still think we need a senior keeper as backup, even though he did well last night. I still think so I might look at Sarr because he's a decent keeper. But equally, I think Cody's playing really well, and I think he leads his back line. I don't think Bolly's a big unit, but I don't think he's much of a footballer. Whereas I think Cody's playing really well at the moment, and I think it's difficult to look past him for England right now. I think he's doing that well. So I'm really only saying that on the basis that Llorente does seem to pick up a lot of niggly injuries. We've heard that Dallas plays injured week in, week out, just about, but he picks up a lot of niggly injuries. For me, there's still a little bit. I don't want to focus too much on the negatives, but there's a little bit of a. Has he got the bottle really to carry us through tough periods? I don't know.
I think he has the bottle. I just don't think he has the, like you were saying, there's always that fear that he'll get that niggly injury. I think he does have the ability and he does have the leadership to kind of see us through games. But again, like you said, it's just we can't rely on someone who's gotten. That must be the fifth or sixth injury he's had this season. Like,
yeah.
you know,
I think he does get a bit worked up as well at times.
Yeah, I think so.
Sometimes you just want to see somebody a bit calmer, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I do rate Struijk. I think he struggled a little bit recently. Well, actually, yeah, Struijk looks knackered. Mark says there.
That's it.
I think our strongest centre back pairing is Cooper and Llorente. I think Llorente plays better when Cooper's there, and I think Llorente probably as a footballer is our best player. I don't know if it's physiology, if there's a bit of mentality in there as well. I'm not sure, but there's always that question mark for me for him. Corky, I've not really seen enough of him at centre back to make a decision. He's played mostly at defensive centre mid, hasn't he? Than centre back for us. So I don't know. Struijk, I think, will be a great player. Cresswell looks like he'll be a decent player as well. So I'd go Cody. Although I think they do have good attacking players. I don't like watching any of them play football. I think they're all cheating twats.
I'm not sure what that means, Karl, but
well, Barry,
you know who that is. Is that Barry back home?
That's Barry. Jimmy's Barry.
Lad, isn't it?
Yeah. It's very much a bipolar kind of scenario for all Leeds fans at the moment. I think like the ups and downs are coming so fucking fast. You don't know whether you're coming or going.
Basically, Jay was like that all along, and we were like, "Stop being like that. Why are you being like that?" And now we all are.
Yeah, basically.
So talk about it rubbing off on the pod, like, and everyone. Like.
Please don't be rubbing off on the pod. That's far too close to Jason behaviour.
Rubbing out, rubbing off, two different things, man.
I don't want to get taken off the air. I'll tell you what, I couldn't believe we hit the bloody woodwork again a few times.
Yeah.
I mean, we're up there, aren't we?
In 12 minutes.
Hitting the woodwork more than anyone else. 2
goals, twice we hit the woodwork, and 2 more shots on target in 12 minutes.
Oh, crackers. And, honestly, those 2 goals that we scored where we hit the woodwork, it were like, oh, God. And you think the chance has gone, don't you? And you think,
yeah.
And then it goes in, you're like, like, going insane. You know, what a roller coaster, man. I'm still buzzing, to be fair. I'm half dead, but I'm buzzing.
I'll be honest with you. It makes me look more forward now to Southampton when we get back from the international break. That buzz in the camp is just going to be massive. It's going to be as big as Click's eye. So, you know, I think...
that looked fractured, didn't it? I don't know if it's...
It looked awful bad. Like.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, he replied to my I mocked up something really quickly. It wasn't any professional setup at all or anything, but I mocked something up that was him being Jigsaw out of Saw.
Yeah.
He replied to it on Twitter. He appreciated it, so it's all right.
Did he? I'll let you hear that.
I was a bit embarrassed afterwards. Actually, but, you know, it's one of those things. So just sort of similar question, but we'll look at Leeds then. So, man of the match.
Oh, God.
I'd
probably give it to Rodrigo, me.
Yeah.
But I can't really remember much specifically, just flashes and bits of the game. So I'm going to stick with Rodrigo.
The thing is, like, it's hard to look beyond Rodrigo, even though Forshaw had a great game playing in that, you know, the hold and roll, and he did dictate a lot of things to the forward players as well as the back players, and he kept control of that. But I think just overall performance over the last 2 games, it's hard to look away from. Ayling's a good shout as well. Better at right back again. We say it constantly. Right
Ayling's
back.
100% mine. 100%.
Yeah.
If you think of the impact he had moving forward, you know, he hit the post. He scored one. It's so refreshing being able to see him back at right back and doing what he does for his best. It's brilliant. I don't like. He's one of those players that can do a centre back's job, but he's not great at it. But he is a very, very good right back.
Top drawer,
the impact going forward is huge. The ball's inside when he plays those triangles with Forshaw and when Dallas is in there and with Click. You know, they're all tidy footballers, and that gets us out of trouble a lot of the time. It's a good outlet for us, but he was great getting forward. And I think, you know, for me, I named 3 players. You 2 went with the other 2 that were behind him, but I went early.
Yeah, I think for me, it's Rodrigo. Just the last 2 performances. He's a changed player. Literally, the improvement in how he's going about things already.
Although we've seen this before with him.
Yeah, but it comes down to him being that just shows he's a massive confidence player.
Yeah.
If someone shows confidence in him, he will perform. And I think the sit down with Jesse Marsh has absolutely put him through the roof now at this stage. I just think because of yesterday's performance, how he played against Norwich, how he's been getting more and more involved in giving people shit or starting to talk more on the pitch or encouragement and all that. So I think, yeah.
Will you stop doing that, Gilly?
We're both trying to pop up the same comment and it just disappears.
Man, Ayling tried to do the old Robbie Keane one. That's what Ayling tried to do.
He even had finger guns out afterwards.
I actually wrote a couple of notes just before we came on because, we're professional here. And the last thing I wrote on it was Luke fucking Ayling. What a guy. And I think
I can't disagree with people saying that Ayling is their man of the match. I thought there was the one thing that I did notice about Ayling yesterday, there was no space in behind because he wasn't playing centre back. He was playing where he normally plays, and when he went forward, we knew exactly what we were doing if he went forward. Whereas if he's playing centre back,
that's it.
Yeah.
That is it. And everyone knows what they're meant to be doing and where they're meant to be, and it just makes such a difference. And I love Bielsa, but he frustrated the hell out of me with the whole square pegs in round holes thing. It never made any sense to me. And I think he put players that he believed in above putting players in the right places because he just had that much faith in people, I think. But it just didn't always work, did it? But
at least on that's what got him. Doing that got him where he got to.
Yeah.
So, it was always rough with the smoothie Bielsa, wasn't it? It was you have to accept his foibles to be able to have his genius.
Correct.
So
correct. You want to see that. You want to see that style of football. You have to accept he's going to do these things. So that's the trade-off, and it got us to where we are. So I'm not going to knock him for it.
Jesus Christ, no, definitely not. No.
So I made some notes and then realised that all I were doing were focusing on the negatives.
What's happened to you, man?
Yeah, well, when I say the negatives, it was them cheating and getting away with it, and then fouling us and getting away with it is what I mean. So 6 minutes, Jackie got smashed by Bolly, nothing given. 10 minutes, Bamford should score, goes near post. We'll move on from that. 12 minutes, Bamford started limping. That's when I first noticed it. This is on the watch back. Dan James tried picking him out, didn't get it right. Then the ref pulled it back. Dan James encroaching into the box for a goal kick. He really didn't at all. Dan James taking out nothing given. Now the cameras didn't show that one, so I don't know if you've seen this. There was it was picked up by a different camera, but it wasn't shown during the coverage. I've only seen it on Twitter since, and that was Bolly had clotheslined him. Just took him out. Ball.
Hey, what?
Yeah, that wasn't given. 35 minutes, Jimenez through the back of Click in the centre circle. 36 minutes, Jimenez dive at the near touchline. Then there was a Forshaw wins the ball. Foul's given. Podence rolls around like he's been shot. Then the same minute, Podence doesn't get the ball, cleans Forshaw out from behind, gets a warning, but gets away without being booked. Cresswell stumbles and falls over. Free kick to Wolves. And then Cresswell misses the ball. Melier plays the ball down the field. Jimenez smashes him. Breen immediately says Jimenez is in trouble, but there's tears all over Twitter saying that it's a conspiracy. So I didn't carry on. So the behaviour carried on into the second half, even though we turned the game around. But I didn't keep making notes because it was just pissing me off.
On our side.
Yeah,
exactly. This is what's unreal.
You should post that on Twitter after this.
Yeah.
Tag him that said it were a dark day for football when some supporters got in the director's box.
When who got in the director's box?
Some Leeds fans apparently got in director's box, and this.
No,
guy
well,
was
they
saying,
didn't get in. They bought tickets in the executive boxes. So they bought tickets for hospitality, and they say it's a dark day for football, letting away fans buy tickets
kids
in
were
our
crying.
executive box. Yeah.
Fuck off.
I mean, a dark day for football. I can think of a lot worse.
A dark day for football is, a massive tragedy. That's a dark day for football.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, there's always that. But to say that it's a dark day for football for letting someone buy an away fan buy a ticket in the director's box. I'm sorry, man. Your club just got about 600 quid off that chap. You can go and fucking shite. Don't care.
Yeah.
Couldn't care less. Your club's made money off it, so shut up.
We should probably start wrapping up here, guys. It's been like 50 minutes here. It's funny how much
Don't feel like it though, does
it? When you've won.
No, it definitely doesn't feel like 50 minutes.
Well, you haven't been here 50 minutes, have you? So
that was the point, Jay. Yeah.
No, mate. I'm just emphasising. But I mean, we're going into international break now. Apparently, Marsh says everyone's okay. So hopefully,
that's a big deal. That is
hopefully.
Yeah.
This 2 weeks now, we're gonna, put some work in. People are gonna get properly fit, and we're gonna come out all guns blazing. Hopefully, after this, and I'm feeling a lot more confident than I was 2 weeks ago. I'll tell you that much.
And they've had variable results as well. They've been beaten by sides you wouldn't expect them to be beat by. I think was it Burnley did them.
Southampton.
Southampton, yeah. So recently they've had patchy form. So the fact that you can call our form patchy rather than relegation form now, levels us out a little bit. But equally, those players coming back is huge. It really is. You can't overstate the importance of having your spine available again.
We're going to have a full squad after the break.
It's unreal, isn't it? I mean, don't say that because somebody else is going to get injured. But equally, them coming back at this point, so you've got Cooper, you've got Calvin, you've got Rafinha that won't be going on international duty. And you'll have 2 weeks, not only just 2 weeks to get, hopefully Melia can shake off. I think it was a hip in the end that he actually went off with. And, Click's face gets a bit of time to get some ice on it. And so, we're in a position where hopefully after those 2 weeks, not only can they be back fit, whereas if we were playing in 4 days' time, they definitely won't be. But he's also got that 2 weeks to focus on working with them and what he wants from them and making sure that they understand what their role is. And that's really important for us. That's Barry commenting there. I'm going to have to start talking to the wife more. We know footy for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Sorry, Mark. Probably right, to be fair. You can blame me. It's all right.
The kids are dead.
If I have to go back to being Jesus and heal them, I'll do it.
Jesus.
Don't worry.
Just one thing to mention before we do wrap it up then. So we do have a bit of a competition running. We were looking for 500 subscribers and we're up to 485 subscribers on our YouTube channel. So if you're not subscribed, get yourself across. And there'll be a draw done for, I think that's the one with 2 shirts. Isn't it?
That's
is it the lilac blue? Two of them. So there's 2 shirts available there. So get along and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Ought to Know Better, and you can get into the draw for a couple of lead shirts.
Yes. Yeah.
And
free lead shirts are all good.
I was just going to say before we finished up, Watford's game today, we're a bit gutted they got postponed, with Everton being in the cup. But then I thought, you know what? When we're putting wins on like that and we're racking points up, it's just giving them a bigger mountain to climb.
Ramps the pressure up, doesn't it?
Yeah, and hopefully that's going to make it harder and harder for them and they'll crack.
I've said that. Like, I think the main thing we need to do is concentrate on getting wins, getting points on the board.
Got to be in it to win it, Mark.
But not to worry about everyone else. Like, fuck everyone else. We just need to keep doing what we're doing.
Yeah.
And it's essentially, what is it now? Everton have 4 games in hand now with the FA Cup this weekend, isn't it?
3, I think.
Is it 3?
Yeah. So we've played 30. They played 27.
Okay. Those 3 games in hand aren't easy for them. Like, and they still have to win them.
Horrendous running.
Yeah. April's horrible for them.
It was shit that they won against Newcastle, but that was their easy game. That's it.
Yeah. So they've got Palace in the cup, then they've got West Ham away, Burnley away, then they've got the Scum at home, Palace at home. So Palace at home, they'll hope to get something from that, but Palace are quite a way up the table away from Everton. Then they've got Leicester, then they've got Liverpool, then they've got Chelsea last game of the season.
That's it. Well, I think it's...
they've also got City thrown in there as well somewhere, don't they?
No, I don't think so.
No, I don't think they have.
I thought
I think
City was
they're
one
the
of
only
their
ones
games
that
in
City are
hand.
not. No, I
Can't
think City are the only ESL. Oh no, Spurs. They're not playing Spurs. They're not playing City. They're playing the rest of them.
All right. Makes no odds.
But
We'll
I
just
mean,
keep
how
winning.
cheeky was it that they went to appeal over the Alan red card,
I know, yeah.
and
Mark,
they didn't extend it?
have
Oh.
you been to
No.
bed yet, Mark? Are you all right? Right, let's
Yeah.
call it a day, boys.
Okay, fair enough.
let's
Sorry
football
for
range
my
on Saturdays.
tardiness there and all this morning, lads. It was yeah, there was nothing I could do about it. Absolutely nothing I could do about it. I had the best intentions going to bed, but then it was fucking bright. So
I can't remember whether I'm on Tuesday or not, but
I don't know whether any of us are on a Tuesday. Are we doing a pod?
I can't remember whether Smarty put it in first week or second week for international break. I can't remember. I think it might be on this week and not following week. But in terms of the approach from the prediction stuff, we've got a new leader and we've got somebody new at the bottom of the table as well, because someone went for Wolves.
Someone always does.
was it Rex? Did he go Wolves? Did he?
He did. So
Shot
he got his
himself in
big
the foot
-5. And in terms of the predictions league, I'm not going to give away the scores and the points and so on, but the fans are now top of the league.
Good God, man.
What does that say about us?
Ooh. Stats will be fuming.
Yeah, it was
It's unreal.
absolutely
But
fuming.
the reason that the fans are up there is, I mean, obviously it's because they picked up more points, but what really put them on the trail for that was the the absolute spot on call of the 6-0 that we lost.
That was unreal. That was unreal.
How can you get that accurate? Like, it's like
Oh.
it's not even fair. Like, it's not even fair. Yeah, 6-0. It's like, you fuck off, 6-0.
Right, I think on that note, we'll call it a day, boys. Cheers for joining me. And yeah.
Thanks for picking up the slack there, lads. I appreciate it. My bad.
No worries, mate. See you in a bit.
Teams back.